Hello and welcome to a special edition of Lisburn Distillery TV, which tonight sees us interviewing no less than Glenn Dorrian, who's recently been appointed as under-21 or under-20s reserve team manager in Lisburn Distillery. Glenn, welcome to Lisburn Distillery TV, and indeed, welcome to Lisburn Distillery the club.
Thank you, Colin. No, it's an absolute pleasure to talk to you. It's been an unbelievable sort of week to 10 days for me. From a sort of left Linfield at Christmas time. Everything's happened so fast, but it's been absolutely brilliant as well. From a very, very start. I've met a lot of fantastic people already, and I'm really, really, really excited. For what lies ahead. Sounds
all very good. Some people obviously think, okay, I know this name, I don't know much about this kind of background. Can you tell us a wee bit about your coaching background there, Glenn?
Yeah. So, Colin, my first club was Green Island. So Green Island's obviously, a really, really well-known, well-established boys club. Green Island is special, Colin. They set standard with everything. There's a lot of really, really good people there. They've produced a lot of good players, And if you're lucky enough to, be part of Green Island, it can do so much for you. Some absolutely fantastic people there. A man that everybody will know, named Lawrence Galloway, who's guilty. Yeah. He was a fantastic man. So I was there. I worked, in the mini soccer sort of things. I played there a little bit. So I was good grounding. After sort of Green Island and stuff, I worked with my dad for, my whole time at Linfield. But growing up as sort of a teenager and stuff, I always would have went with my dad to football. My dad coached in the Premier League for a lot of different clubs. And, I was always around him. And, as I got older and, more mature, he gave me, little bits of responsibility in this Gallard and Gallard, and I always sort of, thought then I would have a chance of being a coach. So I went in and I had sort of my first sort of job in and around adults, sort of young players was at Banbridge Town, where I live here, Colin. I went in there for 6 months and just coached young players, which is great. Then the season came to an end. I went to Brantwood, which is a club close to where I grew up. Again, it was I learned a lot from it. It was adult men, and different sort of things. That I was able to speak better and as well as on the training pitch. So I enjoyed that too. And then Linfield came, which was absolutely tremendous. And then after Linfield, here we are now, Lisburn Distillery.
Distillery's right. You mentioned there about your dad, obviously, who's a highly regarded coach in local footballing circles. Am I right in saying he's also played for our reserve team, and indeed your grandfather played for Distillery as well?
Well, my grandfather had sort of a connection to Distillery, it was his club. Mm-hmm. But my dad played for reserves, and I think Marty Quinn was the manager of the reserves. And if you tell me, right, Colin, here, I made him a Marty Quinn's first job, was it, in football at Distillery reserves? I think somebody else told me that. So, it's my first job, as a manager. So if I can go on and have a career Marty Quinn done, I'll take that.
I'll be happy with that at the end of the day, In terms of your dad, I think I would also prefer he to say he cut his teeth under the tutelage of another Distillery legend, Tommy Wright. I think the two of them worked together at the Ballyclare youth team, and then they went from there to Limerick Valley and then over to Ballymena United. So you must have a lot of experience alongside Tommy as well.
Yeah, he's probably the best football coach I've ever been around, Colin. Tommy Wright. Just what a man, just absolutely fantastic, so professional, amazing with people. I said to you before initially about Green Island, I like a professionalism and things, and I like detail, and Tommy was the best I've ever seen at that. Tommy was absolutely tremendous. One of my dad's good friends as well, Jeff Montgomery, he was in with my dad and Tommy, and he was assistant. And I know Jeff, since, I was tiny. And again, he's had a major influence on me, and he was always there with Tommy and dad at all these different clubs. But Tommy really just had something about him, Colin, and I just knew he would go on. He went to Scotland there and won a cup, and I think with St Johnstone actually, probably one of the lowest budgets in the Scottish Premier League, and Tommy's just an absolutely fantastic man.
Of course, we had to study a first-hand experience of Tommy's managerial skills. I mean, he delivered the 2011 CIS Cup to us here to study, so we'll certainly always regard him in high regards. And I was actually talking to Tommy yesterday at their Comrades game against Carrick, and I know your father actually managed it. Ballyclare for a while. But the right saying that a certain Stuart King was his assistant manager. I'm sure that was an interesting experience working alongside.
Yeah, my dad and Stuart are like really, really good friends. Colin, Stuart is obviously a wonderful player. He went into my local club here, Banbridge Town, and done an absolutely amazing job. He's infectious personality, Colin. He really, really is brilliant. He has, everybody loves him, and he really, really buys into football clubs. That's one thing, that you can learn from Stuart. He brings his family into it, and just, he puts absolutely everything into it, and that's, something I've looked at as well. And something, and again, another good person, and I can sort of, lean on, Stuart's brilliant, He's obviously got himself a really, really good job now in the Premier League, but I'm not surprised. He's fantastic.
You say Stuart is no doubt a great manager. I wouldn't say he's 100% everybody's cup of tea, because if he's on the opposition side, he's running up and down that touchline. Like he was yesterday in his shorts and so forth.
He kicks every ball, Colin, but I mean it's it's done him well so far, so, and it really, really has, but as you say, Sturdy is Sturdy's brilliant, so he is, really, really brilliant.
Am I right in saying that you were named after a Spurs player? Was it Glenn Hoddle, was it?
I am, yes, Colin.
Spurs supporter?
Well, I've no choice really in the matter. My grandfather supported Spurs.
I should
dad supported Spurs.
Should terminate this interview now. As a Chelsea supporter, I just reminded you last time I played 2-0, but I'll go on. You follow the Spurs then?
Yeah, I do, Colin. One thing, about me is, I like football played in a certain style, that's one thing about me. And, Spurs are traditionally, like to play good football. Now, if I could just get a trophy to go with it, that would be fantastic.
But,
I know, but I do call it. I like footballers, sort of, Spurs of my generation, had, Raphael van der Vaart, I loved him, Berbatov, I like elegant footballers.
And Glenn Hoddle was a perfect example of that, of course.
Yeah. I've seen little clips of him and stuff, obviously I'm too young to remember him properly playing, but, I hear that, he was my dad's favourite, so that's why I'm Glenn after Glenn Hoddle.
I forgive you, because he obviously went on to manage Chelsea, so I'm half
yeah.
So that's the case.
No, yeah.
In terms of yourself personally, I know you've suffered a family bereavements recently. As a human being, to be honest.
Yeah, Colin. I mean, my mum passed away about 5 or 6 years ago. She had cancer. So she was young enough, Colin. She could have been late 40s, maybe touching 50. And that was just before the time Linfield came about, me and my dad were really, really, really close, but this just brought us closer, and the football and that sort of new sort of experience came, just at the right time for us. We needed that.
So turn negatives maybe into positives, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah, definitely, Colin. Yeah, definitely. It definitely did bring me and my dad closer together, and then obviously last year during the pandemic, my grandfather died. He caught COVID-19 and just his body never recovered from it. But he was the most wonderful football man. He was always involved in junior football and stuff, and took me with him. And just we had a really, really, really close bond. I have a football family. My uncle was a good footballer, and my dad, obviously, and my granddad. So it means something to me. My dad actually said to me, whenever I took this job, that my granddad would be delighted, because the Distillery was my granddad's club. So it means a wee bit to me, Colin. So.
Who would be your current coaching idols? Who do you look up to and think, I really admire him?
Yeah. Well, let me see, Colin. I like Marcelo Bielsa. I told you I was, I'm a purist. I like football done the right way. I'm really into my documentaries and stuff. So I watched the Leeds one on Amazon Prime. It was absolutely brilliant. All his detail on his work. He does things, and the intensity he gets his players to play at. Is absolutely amazing. Locally, David Jeffrey is somebody I've always, I remember I'll tell you a quick story, Colin. I remember being a young boy. I was maybe only 14 or 15. And my dad was taking Ballymena Reserves and they were playing Linfield Swifts. Yeah. And David Jeffrey was standing down for me and he came over and he spoke to me. And he just asked me, questions about football and little different things. And I saw him the next day at the first team match. And he came over like he does and gave me a big embrace and a hug and, a pat in the head. And I tell everyone that story, Colin, because it just shows you, what he was like with people, and that was something, I'll always remember that, he's obviously, his record's absolutely incredible, but, he has his way, with people. And, we talked about Stuart King earlier. Stuart said, that David Jeffrey made you feel like you were George Best when you were playing for him, and he really, really needed you, and I think, that can definitely work for you.
In terms of yourself, and obviously we've talked there a lot about your coaching icons and so forth.
Yeah.
In terms of the distillery, what can we expect sort of Glenn Dorrian to bring to the Lisburn Distillery Football Club? Yeah,
well, as to say, Colin said to you before, I'm a purist. I like football played the right way. I'd like to think, despite a young age, I have a decent CV. I know people. I've had good jobs. I like younger players. One thing is about me, Colin. It doesn't matter if you're small and young. If you can play, I like that. I'm not a lover of direct style of football and long throw-ins and things like that. It just isn't my cup of tea, Colin. I know that if people come and watch me training's massive for me. I love a training pitch, and I know if people come and watch my team playing, that they'll enjoy watching the kids. I think that's vital to me. Some of the bigger clubs have big budgets, and distillery we need young players to come in, and they said, the gaffer's story in, Colin McCauley's born in 2004, and he went and played there in the first team. James Morgan, 2003, went and played in the first team. So players get opportunities at Lisburn Distillery. They really, really do, especially on the training pitch, and I know already from, just my first week to 10 days, we've had a great week, that there's more to come, and I just want to make it more attractive, and I know I will, for young players to want to come here and play, because this is a massive football club.
Yeah, you got off to a winning start yesterday, so once again you must be happy with that as well.
Yeah. I'm calling you, as you say, we had a good week in training, and we were at Newford on Monday night, which again is absolutely beautiful facility. I mean, if you're a young player and you want to go to training, the place is absolutely perfect. I brought in a big number. I wanted to see some of the younger players from under 17 and under 18, and Ian and Ernie have been absolutely tremendous, Colin. I have to say that, as well as David and Colin and Glenn and everybody else has helped me. But I want to just sort of bring a closer bond to all the academy players. That's important to me, that they feel really, really part of it. And I don't really like, separate teams and separate squads. I want more togetherness. So as I say, we had about 24 players at training last Monday, which was fantastic. And the boys all trained really, really well, and with a good week. And again on Thursday, and I just had a good feeling going into Saturday, Colin. got there, you know, and I had a wee butterflies in my stomach, and it was good crowd watching, and all the board members were down, and you know, it was fantastic, you know, and the boys really played well and done themselves proud, and you know, coming off at the pitch at the end, you know, there were so many smiles and faces, you know, and I could, you know, I'll be honest with you, felt a bit choked up. So it did, you know, I just was so pleased for so many people, you know, David and Colin, you know, who have put so much effort into, you know, the reserve team, and, you know, I just really, really wanted the players to, you know, to do it from them, and we did, we played well, you know, 3-0 probably made the game sound closer than what it was, but I was certainly took that one to bed on Friday night, Colin.
Okay, Glenn, that really concludes our interview. Once again, thank you very, very much for speaking to us here.
Thanks, Colin. Anytime. Thank you.
Clubs, and hopefully it'll start of a winning form there yesterday, but very much welcome to Distillery TV. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Thanks very much, Colin. Thank you.